Welcome everybody to ISB 2015. My name's Philip Rowe. I'm the chair of the organising committee, and it's a pleasure to have you here in Glasgow and in Scotland. To formally welcome you, I'd like to introduce Bailey Scanlon on behalf of the Lord Provost of Glasgow to give you the Glasgow welcome.
Thank you very much, Phil. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Lord Provost, it gives me great pleasure to welcome your conference to Glasgow for the first time. Glasgow, as a city of science and medicine, is proud to be your chosen destination for this landmark conference, your 25th, and I understand your first to be held in the United Kingdom. And I couldn't think of a more appropriate setting for your civic reception. Our stunning science centre, nestled on the banks of the scenic River Clyde, ladies and gentlemen, Glasgow is a city shaped by scientific exploration and discovery. It is a city with a proud engineering and medical history. And of course, Glasgow's universities consistently produce quality graduates who play key roles in hospitals and medical centres, both here in the UK and across the world. Biomechanics is revolutionising medicine. For example, new procedures to ease hip and knee failure in patients are giving folk a new lease of life. With the help of technology, your profession can now deliver bespoke hip and knee implants. And the availability of biomechanical data is also helping informing the optimum rehabilitation of these patients. So it is really a brave new world in biomechanics as people's lives are transformed by pioneering surgery. For those of you of a certain age, Steve Austin, the $6 million man, beckons. As I mentioned, Glasgow has always been a bold and ambitious city. You just have to take a look around and admire our Victorian culture. Once known as the second city of the empire, the Industrial Revolution, mercantile trade and shipbuilding also moulded Glasgow. As you know, that Glasgow was an adopted home of that giant of scientific exploration and discovery, Lord Kelvin, who studied and later taught at the University of Glasgow. Delegates, I trust you'll enjoy your stay in our wonderful city. Glaswegians are renowned for their wit and wisdom. And Glasgow is universally known across the globe as the friendly city. I do hope that is your experience. Please enjoy your time here and your conference. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure to introduce the Dean of Engineering, Professor Dimitris Georgakis.
Thank you very much, Phil. Bailey Scanlon, Conference Chair and Organising Committee, thank you very much for the invitation to speak in the opening address for ISB 2015. I'm delighted the 25th ISB conference takes place in Glasgow, a city that is well used to hosting large-scale engineering and science events. As a city, Glasgow is proud of having 4 universities, each contributing to new research in the field of biomechanics. At Strathclyde, we have the Department of Biomedical Engineering, incorporating the National Centre for Prosthetics and Orthotics, which has been delivering world-class research for over 50 years. Indeed, this is the home department of our conference chair, and as Executive Dean of Engineering, I'm delighted that Strathclyde is leading and supporting ISB 2015. In addition, we were delighted to have Her Majesty the Queen opening our New Technology Innovation Centre last week, a $90 million investment for collaborative research in which health technologies is one of the 4 main research themes. The University of Strathclyde has recently celebrated 50 years of bioengineering, including biomechanics. Our research has provided a major contribution to the development of biomechanics as a subject, including the development of motion analysis, hip and knee implants, and tissue mechanics, and one of our past professors, Professor John Paul, is a past president of ISB. Our alumni are scattered wide and far, and many are in Glasgow for this Congress. Strathclyde's engineering has recently had many more successes. There are far too many achievements to mention, but I would like to take this opportunity to highlight a few. A wearable device was developed by Dr. Stephen Mill in biomedical engineering that provides real-time data analysis of fluid loss during exercise to enhance the performance of fitness enthusiasts and elite athletes. Dr. Ariane Buis is collaborating with international partners to develop innovative technology to manufacture lower limb prosthetic sockets. The aim is to establish a service in Colombia offering high-quality artificial legs to people who can't afford to buy prosthetic limbs. A smartphone device known as Peak Retina, developed by Dr. Mario Giardini in our Department of Biomedical Engineering, has launched, offering new hope for tackling blindness. The device clips over the phone's camera and enables health workers to see inside the eye, saving the photos and sending them to experts for diagnosis and treatment. The research developed by Dr. James Windmill in the Center of Ultrasonic Engineering concerning an insect-inspired microphone that can tackle the problem of locating sounds and eliminate background noise, leading to a novel technology for hearing aid systems. The faculty also performed exceptionally well in the Research Excellence Framework, with 7 of the 8 departments in the faculty ranked in the top 10 in the UK. Strathclyde was also ranked first in the UK for medical technology in the Complete University Guide 2016. And this is just a small sample of our many achievements. I believe ISB 2015 is going to be a fascinating conference, and I hope you enjoy the city, make new connections, and build new research bridges following on from the conference and take forward real actions for the next generation of biomechanics research. I would like to thank once again the organizing committee who have put this conference together, and thank all of you for coming here to be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time.
I've just got a few brief words as the part of the opening ceremony. As our Dean has just said, we pride ourselves on being a place of useful learning, and I think biomechanics exemplifies that. It's a very useful subject. This is the bioengineering department. It was founded in 1963, and one of the founding members was Professor John Paul, who some of you may know. One of the reasons we bid to host the Congress was that it was our 50th anniversary when we bid, and that chimed with 25 Congresses. But we also wanted to recognise John's contribution to biomechanics over the years. Unfortunately, he died in 2013, but his family are here. His daughter is speaking tomorrow in the HIP session, and we're really pleased and privileged that they can be here with us. John was given a problem by a local surgeon that they were trying to fix hip fractures, and the pins that they were using kept breaking. And John was a mechanical engineer, and he said, "Great, I can fix that." 50 years later, he was still researching the topic. He took a system from X-rays called stereophotogrammetry, and he adapted it to use cameras rather than X-ray cameras. And these are the original Cine 16 cameras that he used. He arranged the setup in the same kind of way, with 2 cameras, the red blocks, and 2 calibration boards, which are the blue blocks. And this is the lab as it was in 1965. And you can see on your right-hand side a big black screen, which was his calibration board. John projected the cine film on the wall and hand-digitized the position of the markers. He then calculated a 3D model of the legs, and this is John around that time when he did his PhD. As you might notice, that there's a blackboard in the background, and that was because there were no computers. So he was a remarkable man. He hand-calculated all the frames, all the mathematics behind it, and he understood it totally because of that. This is his data. He managed to study 15 subjects, 10 males and 5 females. And as you can see from his data, he was able to show that there was 2 to 4 times body weight on the hip during gait, which was a surprise to most people. If you look at the little dotted line, that's the work of Riddell that came before him, and it only predicted about 1.5 body weights. So John had his answer as to why the pins failed. He then went on with Mike Jarrett to develop an electronic camera-based system. So this is a very early stroboscope attached to a very early video camera. This was the computer that we first got in 1980. And this was the disk drive. This is a 32K disk drive. So things have moved on quite a bit since that era. Then our colleagues in Vicon got involved, and they built this system, which was the first Vicon system. And we in the department, as well as a group in Dundee and a group in Oxford, were lucky enough to get one of the prototype systems. This is the same lab now, well, a few years ago, because our cameras are now mounted on the walls, but basically the same space as we had before. We've all got used to the idea of having our dots, joining up our stick man, calculating forces and so on. And that's become quite a standard procedure. If you Google biomechanics, you'll find, well, I found 7.5 million hits in less than a third of a second. So there is obviously quite a lot of biomechanics happening. This is a graph of the number of presentations at congresses since the very first one, and you can see the upward trend that we're on. There are some fluctuations, but generally we have an upward trend, and we're pleased that actually at this conference that we'll exceed the record slightly for the number of presentations in the Congress. What about the future then? Well, our group has been working with robotic surgery and navigation. One of the tutorials today was on that. And that uses motion capture within an operating theatre. And it's slick and it's automatic. So that got us thinking. Here's the motion capture system in theatre. You can see the clusters of markers on the legs and also on the robot. This is what the surgeon gets, a head-up display of the bone that he's supposed to remove. And then the robot allows him to remove just that bone. And if he tries to stray outside the green area, the robot will resist it. We've also had some interaction with the animation industry. And this is a typical animation studio with, as you can see, over 100 cameras. And also they do multiple actors with multiple markers. And if you look at the far end, you can see a big screen, and that's in real time. The actors will see themselves portrayed as characters that they're acting. So they get real feedback straight away of how they're performing. So I think we should set ourselves a challenge for the next 25 years to make biomechanics a clinical activity, embed it in practice and therapy. The technology, as you'll see in the exhibition, is coming to a point where it's of cost affordable and easy to use. So for me, that's the challenge I would throw out to you. Let's make it part of routine clinical practice. I couldn't have organised this conference without the help of these two gentlemen, my partners in crime, Phil Riches and Andy Murphy. In fact, they've done most of the legwork and I have sat on top doing very little. Phil's organised a great scientific programme for you, which he's going to tell you about in a minute. And Andy has done a great job on the exhibition and on the experiment, which he'll tell you about. We've had a great team to help us. I'd like to thank the City Council. And as you can see, their motto is "People make Glasgow." And I think that's very true. They've looked after us great. As has the venue, this wonderful venue that you're going to experience in the SECC. Our conference organisers, called MCI, have been pure dead brilliant, as the Glaswegians say, and I couldn't recommend them high enough. So if there's anybody from the UK or around the world who wants a conference organiser, I would recommend highly MCI. And if you have any problems over the week, please contact one of them or one of our university staff or students who will be wearing a pink lanyard like this. And if you have any problems, they'll help you. We couldn't have put on the conference without the sponsors, to whom we're really grateful. And we're also grateful to Vicon and Motec for helping install and pay for the ISB experiment equipment that we're using. The exhibitors have done a great show. They've been setting up all day. I think we've got 36 in total. But when you organise a conference like this, you realise just how important the exhibitors are. They make up about 2/5 of the budget, and I think they've probably subsidised everybody by £100 on their registration. So please go and see them, please go and talk to them, listen to what technology they've got coming, because some of it is quite spectacular. We've also got a display of Heroes of Biomechanics, which was simply people nominating people that they felt grateful to, and stemmed really from my appreciation of John Paul. And that'll be up in the exhibition centre. If I could now hand over to my colleague Phil Ritchies, Dr. Phil Ritchies, who's going to tell you about the scientific programme.
Welcome to Glasgow. I'm so glad you've come. I'm so excited about the scientific programme that we've got for you. I want to take a few 5-10 minutes to describe it and to go through some of the pertinent points. I hope you don't mind. So, as Phil said, I'm the other Phil. You saw my picture just a couple of slides previously. That was me before we got awarded the conference, and since then I've lost all my hair. But it's the 25th anniversary of ISB. Okay, it's a landmark. We wanted to make something really different and really special. And for me, an anniversary is a time to reflect, to pause, but also to celebrate. Okay, so we wanted to look back on what we've done over the last 25 congresses, and also take stock, and you're taking stock, and we can analyse where we are at this precise moment, but also look forward. So we've asked keynote speakers to look at the history of biomechanics over the last, for the period of the last 25 congresses since 1967, and also to project forward their views of how their fields are going to go for the next 25 years. That, for me, is a task that would fill me with dread if I was asked. Okay? And I've got so much admiration and so much thanks to our keynote speakers who have agreed to take on this challenge. But we made it even harder for them and said, well, instead of doing just one person for one subject, why don't you pair up? So we decided to take people at, and I don't wish to cause offence here, try to take people at the peak of their career, okay, and those that are still on an upward trajectory, put it that way, I'm trying to be nice, and pair them up. Maybe one might be more theoretical, one might be more experimental. Try and get a nice mix of speakers and to pair up and to give their joint vision. So we got, for each keynote area, and I'll try and remind measurement technology, hip biomechanics, knee biomechanics, spine biomechanics, sport, I'm sure motor control, I'm sure I've forgotten one. We've got pairs of speakers, and I've got my utmost respect for these fantastic people who have agreed to do that. I'm sure they'll be really interesting, and hopefully they'll cause much discussion amongst the delegates over coffee and over lunch, and just add to the debate about where our topics are going. So please support these keynote speakers. All these keynotes are going to be in this room. You know where they're going to be, so please come back here all the time. So if I don't get to thank them in person, please, a huge thanks from me personally to them for agreeing to do this. We also want to do something as well, okay, something different. You lot have put so many fantastic abstracts together, and we wanted to present as many as we wanted, as many as we could, and we have done that as well. But we also realised there was space for some things which we wanted to do ourselves. So we've invited lots of what we call special sessions. So our friends and our colleagues from around the world to come and give their take over ISB for an hour on a particular day. So every day between 11 and 12, on the Monday through to Thursday, we've got special sessions. Okay? And these special sessions have been invited. Some of them are just going to be the top abstract scoring from the review process, but some have been sessions specially put together by the people that we've asked. So there's motor control by Carlo De Luca, there's technical groups, there's knee biomechanics, hip biomechanics, there's special John Paul biomechanics one. There's one by economically developing countries where some awards are going to be out, the micro grant awards are going to be awarded. There's a specific one in golf biomechanics, and we've got the Royal and Ancient Golf Club to come and contribute to that, and you know how busy they are with the Golf Open starting at the end of this week. So for them to come and help us in some biomechanics is truly fantastic. So please support these. They're described nicely in the programme, which is all online. So it'll be really nice and see how they go. I'm really looking forward to them. Oh, the education Friday morning. Please see the registration for desks. We've still got a couple of spaces left. And that, with that, I'd like to hand over to Andrew, who's going to be talking about the experiment and a glide to Glaswegian language, all in a oneer. Don't worry, I'll do some translations. So thank you very much.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, everybody, for coming to Glasgow. It's wonderful to see you all and to meet you all. I am hoping that most of you are by now aware that we're going to try to conduct a live research activity in the exhibition hall this week at ISB. So we've called it the experiment for brevity, and I'm going to take you through that a little bit just now. I'm also going to take this opportunity to give you a little bit of a guide to Glaswegian, the local parlance that you might hear if you're out and about in the evening. Just in case you're in a taxi and you hear the driver talking in what sounds like complete nonsense, it's not. I'm going to give you an example of it here. To put that in context, I'm showing you up here, this is called a quaich, which is essentially a cup. And we have got all of these. That is the traditional friendship cup of Scotland, and these are going to be our gifts for the keynote speakers. You can possibly just about make out in this particular design of the quaich, which is a unique design by a small jewellers on the south side of Glasgow, that the word Glasgow is written 4 times inside on the four major compass points on the north, south, east and west, and that is to reflect the various different areas of the city. So on the north side of the quaich, we have Glasgow written in Gaelic, which is to reflect a lot of the first people who came to settle the city after it was fully established, who were from the north, and they're all kind of chiterish sort of thing, and they come down and they say Glasgow. And then on the south side of the quaich, Glasgow is written phonetically. The south side today is an extremely multicultural part of the city, and so in order to make oneself understood, you must talk in phonetics. On the west side of the quaich, it says Glasgow according to the Rennie Mackintosh sort of style of writing, which is to celebrate that part of the city's history. And on the east side of the quaich, there's a word there that says Glasgow, and if you're from Glasgow, then that's probably where you're going to talk. If you're just for East End, then you're probably Glasgow. So that's what it says there. Anyway, enough said about that. I'm going to try and give you a little bit of an introduction to the Glaswegian parlance now, which will hopefully inform you as to what the experiment is all about. And I would be delighted if any of you would consider being a volunteer and participating your time, because we've got a fantastic setup, but without your help as participants, we will have a very lonely experience down on the experiment in the exhibition hall. So, without any further ado, all right, muckers, as some of you probably already know, there's going to be one of the big yon lab type things built in the hall there yonder. and it'd be pure dead brilliant if you'd think about coming along to give us a wee horn.
Hello, friends. As some of you will already know, we have built a motion capture laboratory in the ISB 2015 exhibition hall. We would love it if you would consider volunteering as a participant.
What's it all about then? Number one thing for what we want to do is to make a big noise about all the possibilities that treadmills can give you for looking at how folk donner around, as opposed to just compared to stoating about in the ground.
The primary objective is to raise awareness of the potential benefits of conducting analysis of human walking using treadmills as opposed to conventional overground configurations.
Well, have you got to do it? Well, it's totally up to yourself if you want to have a go. Mind you'll have to whip off most of your kegs and folk will probably be having a wee swatch at you, but it'll be a good laugh.
No.
And what if you do? Get yourself online and with your browser at www.isbglasgow.com for all the latest info and all that. Or just find one of me or my pals and we'll give you a horn to sort it out.
If you do decide that you would like to participate, then please visit www.isbglasgow.com, where you will find all of the information that you need to schedule your appointment. Or just come and find one of the organising team and we'll be happy to help you.
This is a short video that I've just recorded to show you what's involved. There's no photography or video allowed at the experiment. We'll ask you to come along and change into some very revealing wear, which I want to be honest about. If you come along, we're going to expect you to get that's what whip your kegs off means. Remove your clothing. And then walk on a couple of treadmills for us. You're going to walk for approximately 12 minutes in total, and we'll expose you to a couple of different treadmill modalities, including fixed-paced walking and so-called self-paced walking. It really is just an effort for us to raise the awareness of this not emerging, but somewhat emerging technology, which we believe is extraordinarily useful in the rehabilitation environment. So it's set up at stand number 96 in the exhibition hall. If you're not too shy and you don't mind whipping your kegs off, then please do come and give us a hand. Obviously, you can schedule your appointment for a time which is out with the coffee break or the lunch break, so that there's going to be fewer people in the exhibition hall. But if you're like me and you're a bit of an exhibitionist, then you can whip your kegs off in front of 1,000 of your pals and they can all stand and have a wee look at you. So it's nothing demanding, it's nothing invasive, it's nothing very high intensity. We'll get you to walk slowly, comfortably and more quickly, but that's all it is. And it should take you 30 minutes. We've got a good team who are going to execute this for us, and that's 30 minutes. So, are you still up for a wee shot?
Do you still want to participate?
If you go online, we've got an information sheet which you can download, and in fact which I must insist that you download and read. My ethical approval has been granted for this study, but you must read the information sheet, please. You can use a Google Calendar to book your appointment for participation, or come and see any one of us at the experiment or registration desks, and we can give you a hand to book your appointment. There's some contact details up there, and I think that that's all that I have to say to you. So, Phil, do you want to... Oh, sorry about that. Ta! Hope to see you there.
Thank you, Andy.
My final duty of the opening ceremony is to invite our President, Professor John Challis, to come up and say a few words to you at the beginning of the conference.
I didn't expect a clap, thank you very much. So, welcome to the 25th Congress. This is very exciting. So, I'm not going to say very much, but I'd just like to start off by saying a few thank yous. So, thank you to Andy with the skirt, Phil with the skirt, and Phil that lost his hair, our conference organizers who have worked very hard on our behalf. In addition, I'd like to thank the ISB Council. So, we've just met for 2 days, so 2 days of meetings is pretty tough on anybody. But they've actually been working very hard all year. So you saw from the short presentation that Kelsey gave about all the events that have been organized for students and postdocs, but many of the council of the ISB have been working equally hard on other features that you will see at the Congress, whether it's awards or students that are here because they received grants or students that are reporting work that they did because they received a grant from the ISB. So thank you to them. Thank you to the delegates, all you guys. Now in particular, I'd like to thank all the ISB members that are here. I'd like to welcome you, remind you that our General Assembly is on Wednesday lunchtime, so I'd like to see you there. For those of you that are not delegates, I'm not so...
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
The trouble with cutting a cake, you have to just go for it. After the opening ceremony and the lecture that's to follow, on the way out, everyone will get a piece of cake to take with them as they walk across to the welcome reception. Okay. Carry on, John.
I was only half expecting that. So for those of you that are not members, I'm not going to welcome you. I will do once you become members. So there is a booth in the exhibition hall where our membership officer is. So if you'd like to become a member, I'd highly recommend it. This is the 21st Congress of the International Society of Biomechanics. In actual fact, our first Congress was held in 1967. It was really a seminar on biomechanics, and it was held in Zurich. By 1973, the series of meetings they'd had every other year had gained enough momentum so that when the seminar series was held in Penn State, that they decided to form the International Society of Biomechanics. So here we are, many years later here, and I don't know why it's taken us quite so long to have a Congress in the United Kingdom, but here we are in Scotland celebrating the 25th Congress of our society, and it's a significant milestone. And obviously we're all going to get a slice of cake to help celebrate the significant milestone. But I think that perhaps the most important way that we can celebrate our 25th anniversary is this week as we embark on the conference, all showing our enthusiasm for science, and in particular our enthusiasm for biomechanics. So I hope you all enjoy the cake, enjoy the Congress. I hope those of you who are not members become members, and I hope you all enjoy Glasgow very much.